Take it as an honor. This is the oldest play in existence.
Hello, folks. So, before we get on with the Persians.
How with this rage shall beauty hold a plea whose action is no stronger than a flower? I think it's important to feed the spirit, and that's what we do. Tragedy in these plays are really important. They help you understand yourself and the world you live in, what it is to be a human being. That's a big claim to make, but it is true.
They were at war with Persia not all that many years beforehand. So having been at war with them to turn around and write a play.
The Greeks, a few thousand years ago, were thinking the same thoughts and having the same problems we find ourselves having today.
Actually, the first thing we did was a Greek play. And we did that because we did it in those columns over there, which seemed to suggest a Greek play. I'd never read a Greek play, but I thought that sounded like a good idea. And as a publicity stunt, we did them en masse. Greek tragedy we do in a somewhat ritual style to help emphasize the sacred character of the original plays. They were done as part of a religious exercise. And that's why we start with a solemn procession. It used to be we would process from pines out in the distance, curving around the brow of the hill and performing in that circle of columns, and the audience could sit on the other side. Now we just process across the stage. And the Greek tragedy has become the centerpiece of the Genesius Guild. We do a lot of other things, but we're known for the Greek tragedy en masse. This is the only place in the country where it's done every year that way. The play starts off with 4 drum beats, and that sets the rhythm. And then you walk in with these long poles, old men masks. Gentlemen, hold your staff this way. Bend in the back, not as much as maybe. Yeah, hold it both hands.
Which one on
right
top?
Right hand on top, left hand underneath. Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I would have gone to
This is Lilios rather than Lilios.
That's M-I-N, but it should be M-I-H, I guess. And then this is just a confusing
Wait, what?
Central.
Was that okay? That was a typo.
Right.
There are lots of typos.
There are lots of typos. Okay, so there. This is a very short, very powerful play. It was, according to what we're told, Pericles asked Aeschylus to write a play celebrating the victory of the Greeks over the Persians. So I think everyone's surprised he wrote the play from the Persians' point of view, the people who lost. Let's just do a little reading in the beginning to see what it's like.
Here we stand, the old men, while Persia's youth marches onto Greek soil,
following the gold-winning king,
Xerxes, son of Darius.
Will they return? a little upturn at the end. Will they return? Will they be coming back? Start again.
Will they return?
My fearful heart throbs with hints of doom.
Particularly when you speak together, you must all speak the same inflection, the same mood, unless it is a line that calls for some kind of vocal harmony.
Our sons.
And we must create the idea in the audience's mind that you're seeing people go by. There were 3, 4 chariots. How about that? You know?
Saw the mighty kings,
Mysteries!
Artophany, the Galaxies, Astospenes, kings in service of the great king.
The gods join in battle, victory. Bang!
Holy Persia sings in a gale wind of victory!
But the gods are jealous of overreaching men.
But the god, you gotta remember, but the gods are jealous of overreaching men. Yeah, that's right.
We hope. We dream, but still we know nothing.
Will they return?
And then it just goes down. And those of us who wait gather together to sing of hope.
Those of us who wait gather together to sing of hope, but stand alone in our dread.
Queen Atossa appears. She is advised by the chorus to prepare a sacrifice to the ghost of her husband Darius, who was a great Persian leader. Their son Xerxes is the leader of the campaign against the Greeks.
To mortal men of Hellas. But see, descending as a god in our midst, our blessed queen, Atossa.
He says, but see, then you just walk straight out into this position and stand here until it's time for you to speak. All right?
I come from the gold-wrapped shadow of my chamber to speak to you, oldest and most loyal friends. Great wealth is no guard against sorrow. Indeed, I find no comfort in anything. Even the balm of sleep fails me, for dark visions crowd my thoughts and fill me with dread. My son, my staff in old age is gone.
Since my son marched away to make Greek lands his own, I have been haunted by dreams. One stands out
clearest in my memory. A vision that came to me last night. Then, to my horror, a hawk, stooping from a great height, set its claws in the eagle's head. Then,
You gotta act this out.
okay.
I see it into my heart. Stooping from a great height, set its claws in the eagle's head. The noble bird did nothing.
I spied an eagle winging toward the gods' ever-burning flame. Then, to my horror, a hawk, stooping from a great height, set its claws in the eagle's head. The noble bird did nothing, only cringed and offered up its body. These are terrible omens.
The big thing about Greek tragedy, all the bad stuff happens off stage. And the tragic messenger comes on stage to make it real. Okay, come up on stage now. You come in, you can hold on to this, take 2 or 3 steps, and then down. You go, so keep your back straight, so you go straight down, and then lean forward. Okay, there you go. And you might use your upstage hand when you say cut down. A single stroke has cut down all our draperies.
Look! Someone's coming!
Now we will eat. Now we will know the truth. Who is this? Who's coming? Come back here to look. Oh. Then you will move over that.
Saw him in the soft night.
So well that they crushed Darius' mighty host at Marathon.
A terrible thing to say. You make parents of that lost army shudder.
Look! Someone's coming!
Now we shall hear the truth.
It's a Persian!
Spread out nicely.
Are there 2 more people here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Come on in, messenger.
Asia! A single stroke has cut down our greatness. Our good fortune has been crushed, the flower of our glory trampled underfoot. I weep to bring you bitter news, but you must know the truth. Our whole expedition is lost. Our arrows, our spears counted for nothing.
Pardon me, make that a question. All for nothing?
All for nothing? Our arrows, our spears counted for nothing. Our nearby.
See Salamis right out here.
Okay. Their bodies pile up on Salamis and all the nearby coasts.
Oh, weep for them.
Weep for them.
Weep for them.
Rage for Persian slaughter. Lift the death cry throughout the city.
Salamis. I hate that hissing name.
All that is done in this small area here. Then Atossa speaks. I've remained silent till now.
I have remained silent till now. Though it grieve you to recall, I must ask, who is yet alive? Whom shall we mourn?
You move toward the center, but not quite there, and tell her that Xerxes sees the light of day.
Xerxes still sees the light of day.
Your words fan the ashes of my hope into flame, bright day after darkest night.
But Artambares, ruler of 10,000 horsemen, is washed with the tide along Seleniai's coast.
But then you stride past her. But Artambares, all these guys are lost. And you go into your statement here, Atossa is on that side of you. If numbers were all our Asian, and she comes up to you, that Athens is not yet sacked. How did the battle begin? Who struck the first blow?
Athens is not yet sacked.
Safe it lies behind its stout walls.
But how did the battle begin? Who struck the first blow?
Rammed into the narrows, we could not move, but rammed into each other.
Jammed into the narrows. Take a step back as if you're being pushed.
Beaks into Persian hulls. Jammed into the narrows, we could not move, but rammed into each other. Salt water filled our eyes. Hulls capsized. The sea was filled with wreckage and floating corpses.
Salt water filled our eyes. Then start making your move to the left. Salt water filled our eyes.
Speared and gutted. The groans and shouts of the dying drowned out the pounding waves until black night covered us. Talking for 10 days, I could not tell it all.
But what of the king's noble friends? What happened to that bright host?
There is a small island fronting the coast of Salamis.
Let's move to the left and show that small island out here in the pool somewhere.
Okay. To kill Greeks scrambling ashore for safety. Butchered every living man.
We need a little movement on that further to the that great leap. I don't want you to leap anything, but some movement there.
Okay.
And butchered every, Okay, go ahead.
With one great how they leapt from their boats and butchered every living man. A god breathed upon the water, freezing the...
Here till we reach the Axian Ford. Breath. That night is a miracle. That night, you can take a slight turn back to your right.
We reached the Axian ford. That night, a god breathed upon the water, freezing the Strymon River from bank to bank.
Breathed upon the water. Breathed upon the water, freezing it from bank to bank. Spread it out, the ice is smooth from bank to bank.
As we started across the ice-locked water, racing the rising sun, the cruel gods cheated us of our goal!
Okay, and the cruel gods. We started across the water, pause. Just a slight turn up, but the cruel gods cheated us. And then you describe what happened. Okay, very good for a first shot through. Atossa says she will take their advice and offer a sacrifice to the ghost of Darius.
I am left with nothing but your advice, which I will act on at once. I'll pray to the gods above and make offerings to the dead below.
Great Zeus! You have destroyed our army, swollen with pride, and dashed it into the sea.
Come further down, and your Okay. And then 7, you come down to join 2. Okay, we 2.
We too raise our voices, mourning the fate of men dead and gone.
Listen to us, great God. Asia is empty of its sons.
Xerxes led them. Xerxes destroyed them.
Unthinking king, easily tricked into ruin.
We remember his father, Darius, mighty archer, beloved and fearless warrior. In losing him, we lost all.
Soldiers marched to their deaths.
Sailors born on the winds to doom.
Ships took them. Ships killed them.
Thousands perished. But the king escaped with his life.
The flower of our nation is strewn among...
Tell number 1 this, the flower of our nation. Girls will immediately into place. Sit back, bow to the tomb, and then turn around and come down. Upstate hand this time. Come down with her on the last step. Atossa goes forward, and you two head on out. You two head on out. Atossa, if you would come further forward, they can walk in front of you when going out. Okay. All right, thank you. When she starts up there, then we regroup. Then you come around to here. You come down to here and turn and face this way. You move up to the tomb. You move up to the tomb. Okay, and you come on in all the way over to here. All right. Then 1, we're going to be somewhat unbalanced, but that's okay. 1 will come to here. Jake will hold right there. You will move back down. We'll all be facing this too. We'll come in just a little bit there. That's fine. Okay. All right. So give your line again.
Okay. Send him to us.
Hermes,
Mother Earth,
king of the dead.
Send our king up from the darkness.
Chorus with Atossa invokes the ghost of Darius, who suddenly appears in his tomb.
Can the king hear my voice, muffled through the deep earth?
Wake now, O Darius, Lord, Master, King. Darius, arise!
When he starts to come up, step back and look away.
We actually have a situation where we've called back from the dead a person who is actually communicating with us.
Old men of Persia, comrades of my youth, why have you summoned me?
Just to your face.
You mean these are individually made?
Yeah. Okay. We'll get a more perfect fitting for your real mask.
Got that lined up.
Take a look.
Such valiant artist, godlike
Here, and then let your hands go, and I'm going to be the strap. That's like a good spot when you go higher or lower.
It was your prayer that summoned me from the grave.
The 4 here, these are all from the Persians. This is a dead guy. His eyes are reversed. And it's just black, white, and gray. Because he's dead.
Then you, my wife and queen.
George Woolner designed the mask we use now the 2nd year, and that was so good and so right, we've just kept it ever since. And it brings up a whole new discipline, of acting. Actors have to learn that their whole body is involved. They can't use facial expressions.
Persia's power has been utterly destroyed.
You can get the mask to be expressive by just a short inclination of the head. Little turn, little tilt. It's amazing. They almost seem to change expression.
Did he attack by land or sea?
The plays were presented at a festival of Dionysus, and he's usually associated with wine, obviously. So wine is obviously something that puts you into an altered state where you're somebody other than you were before. And it seems that masks are there as kind of tools to help an actor or a chorus or whatever put himself or themselves into playing another role, playing a character, being someone different from their everyday lives. But it does, you know, it has a psychological effect too. I think you're closed off from the world around you. You have this focus, this place of being your character.
You know, you're all going to be wearing masks, so you can be a little more emotional. A mask is a good thing to hide behind, where you can really get into stuff. Yours is not as concealing as the majors, as the mask characters. I'll open the curtain a little bit.
Cut.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I lost them.
When you hear the music start, that's when you come into view and come on up. There's nothing wrong with expressing emotion. Women complain about men all the time, that they don't express their emotions. Well, this is the place to do it. You know, on stage, you are given a license to express your emotions.
So we used to wear elevated shoes, and they had a megaphone back behind the mask or in front of the mask so everybody could hear them. So at least, you know, the words were important, but I think the mask, they have a lot of power. They convey things just by the stark, unchanging expression on its face. It's an unusual tool to have on stage.
People at first were not sure what to do about it. Kids bought into it right away. But like anything, once you settle into it, then it just becomes natural.
The land is thin. It will starve a huge army.
The question has always been, were we wise to get in the war? Did we fight the war the right way? Would we have been better off to avoid the wars altogether? And the Greeks and the Persians find themselves asking these very questions. Indeed, in the play The Persians, which we're doing this summer, Xerxes has attempted to conquer Greece. He's gone over there and suffered an enormous defeat. And there are consequences that he didn't understand. The chorus raises those. You know, tributaries to Persia. Once Persia had lost to Greece, were no longer paying their tribute. And the empire was falling apart. There were dead men all over the place, injured men. And in 3,000 years, nothing has changed. You go to war, and you find yourself asking yourself the same questions, either before the war or after the war, that the Persians and Greeks would have had to ask themselves.
You get to that position as the drum beats, and it'll beat 1, 2, 3, and you start.
God, pity us! God, pity us!
Volume is great, but you mean this. God, pity us. Pity us. You're in terrible shape. The whole world has collapsed, so you're begging for pity. Start it again.
God, pity us!
Xerxes arrives in tatters. He's still the king, but he's admonished by the chorus. And if you look back at this last page, number 1 says, account for them. And then the men start chanting all these names.
Now we kneel before the world, destroyed, punished.
God, pity us!
I cannot hide my shame from men or gods. Heartsick, I have fled from hateful doom. I am helpless. My strength is water.
Chorus, low chant over which Xerxes speaks. And while Xerxes is carrying on, the men gradually move in on him, chanting in a low chant these names. And he will, as he talks, he will move to the center. And he will finally wind up right here. So that when you start your little chant, you'll move in.
Where are they? Where are our sons?
Where is Ferendakis?
Susas!
Susis Canis.
Where are they?
At Athens, in the mouth of hell, broken on the wave-wracked shore.
Account for them.
To move in, it's got to be ominous. You give them names. Until you're not too tight a circle around them.
How could we know? My heart howls at the memory. I suffer.
Great fool! Who does not suffer? Proud Persia sinks in ruin!
Defeat! Despair! Disaster! Childless!
Friendless.
And he kind of gives in, childless, friendless. And then after your chant, then you break so he can just walk out. And then you'll give the final bit.
Okay.
Lead, and I will follow, my lord.
Live theater has been around for 2,500 years. People have sought to stamp it out, to consider it a disgrace, socially unacceptable. Now in our day to be replaced by movies and then television, but it's still here because it serves an important purpose.